Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode in the Aerial Effects Mastering Your Psychology course. And this video is going to specifically address how we deal with the psychology, our emotions, as we become consistent and profitable, right? We've achieved that kind of level of consistency and profitability, and now the idea is how do we maintain that, right? And not regress, right? We want to always be progressing within our trading, right? Within our own minds, our mindset and our approach to the markets. And so it's very, very critical that we have strong psychology as we become successful, consistent traders. Otherwise, things could turn for the worse yet again. All right, so the first area of interest that I kind of want to address is, first and foremost, we need to be thankful. Right? We've achieved profitability. We've achieved success. That is something that not a lot of people can do, right? So we need to be thankful for our old selves, right? We need to appreciate all of the hurdles, right? All of the obstacles and adversity that we had to deal with throughout our journey in order to get to this point, right? You really need to sit back and kind of reflect upon your journey and all of the struggles that you've dealt with that really shaped you and helped you to become the trader that you are today, right? It's very, very important that we do that sort of reflection, right? Understand what all you put into this, all the type of work that you put into this and dedication and effort, right? To reach your goals. And so it's a super powerful emotion, right? It's a manifestation, right, of something that you put in place years ago and that you've worked towards, right? You need to appreciate all of those lows, right? All of those times that you failed and wanted to quit, right? And things didn't make sense to you and you thought that the markets were completely rigged against you, right? And that you were helpless, right? And that you couldn't find a way to become successful. All of those negative thoughts and emotions throughout your journey, right? Think about those experiences, right? And appreciate the fact that you stuck with it, right, this long to be in the position that you're in now as a successful, consistent trader, extracting cash flow from the markets on a regular basis, right? And that ties in with all of your failures, right? Because you are consistent, it is very likely, right, that you've taken that advice, right, and really mastered your psychology to be able to take those failures and really learn from them, right? Not take failure as a punishment like we're kind of taught to do within the schooling system, right? They punish us by assigning grades to us as opposed to focusing on, okay, how can we avoid those mistakes again in the future, right? Kind of flipping it around and taking those failures as true learning lessons, right? And kind of breaking them down and understanding what actually went wrong so that we can avoid those same mistakes in the future. You've been able to do that if you're a consistent trader, right? And we want to be able to continue to learn from our failures because nobody is perfect. We're going to continue failing as you go throughout your journey, no matter what level you're at. All right, but for somebody who has just become consistent and successful in trading, you got to think about all those failures. You have to reflect upon them. What did you do to combat them? Right? How much effort and focus did you put into those failures? Right? Where was your mindset when you were failing? How did you feel? What were the emotions going on inside your head? All right? So be thankful for them. Right? And finally, the ability to do what most cannot. And I kind of touched upon this just a minute ago, right? Be thankful for the fact that you have crossed that 1%, that threshold, right? You are within that top percentile, right? That's an extremely, extremely powerful feat, right? Especially within this industry, becoming a consistent top 1% trader is very, very difficult to do. It's not impossible, right? And we try to put everything together for you, right, to empower you to reach that point within your career, right? But ultimately it was up to you to put in that work, to be dedicated, right, to cross that finish line, right? So just, again, take a step back and think about all the people. You probably know a lot of people yourself, right, who gave up, who didn't want to go through those lows, those failures, right? Because they didn't have the mental capacity. They didn't have the perseverance, right, to endure all of that pain and suffering, blood, sweat, and tears that you did, right? So really, really think about that. Be grateful, be thankful, not only for yourself, but anyone that you feel like helped you along the way, right? We can't do everything in life on our own, especially, becoming a professional trader. You have to have that guidance. You have to have that mentorship. You have to have that support system in place, right? I'm sure that you did. Hopefully, that was the impact was obviously from Aerial Effects. That's our goal. That's our mission. It could be a combination of us and another mentor that you've had or friends, family, etc., that really pushed you and motivated you, right, to get after your goals, right? So really, really, appreciate that and make sure those people are aware of that, right? Give back to them in the form of gratification. All right. Next. All right. We are consistent. We are profitable traders. That's great. All right. But I caution you here. I caution you in this phase, right? We need to respect the markets always, or simply be humbled very quickly. All right. It's simple as that, right? Don't get all high and mighty because, you're a consistent profitable trader and you've been consistent for a few months now or a few weeks, right? You're taking consistent cash flow out of the markets. That's great. Congratulations. The market makers, the banks don't care how much money you've made. FYI, they really don't. All right. And so you have to keep that in the back of your mind, right? If you get greedy, right? If you allow the old emotions, the old you that were holding you back, if you allow them to creep back into your mind because you're now consistent, because you're now profitable, right? And you think that everything is set and you don't have to continue to work to stay consistent, then you're in for some trouble, okay? Past performance never guarantees the future, and it's a cliche disclaimer, but it's very true. Just because you did well the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months does not guarantee that that's going to continue in the future. Right? There's got to be a lot of things in place psychologically for you to maintain that level of success and consistency. It's not just going to come because you had a good few months. Promise you that. All right? So again, it's coming back into the emotion of greed, right? And a lot of people, it might be the most money you've ever made in your life, right? That right there can trigger the emotion. I've never had this much money in my life. I'm consistent now, finally. Great, yay. Right? I'm just going to be willy-nilly about my trading now because I'm good. I'm all set. Look at my last few weeks, right? And boom, market makers couldn't have cared less, right? And they destroy you. All right, so just beware, just be cautious, right? You've reached a level of professionalism. You have to maintain it. All right? And so that ties into kind of the micro level. That was somewhat of the macro, the micro level on an individual trade basis. We have to be treating every single trade like it's a 0-0 ball game. You're up against the other team, and it's the beginning of the game. It's tied 0-0. All right? And, executing trades. It's a security of past profits. Right? Oh, I went on this winning streak. I'm consistent. I'm great. I won all these trades. I'm just going to be lackadaisical with this next trade. I don't care if, so what? It doesn't meet my rules. I'm just going to take it anyway because I've done so great on my last few trades. Or I'm consistent the last few weeks. Right? And so it gives you that security blanket of, I can be more lenient with myself and the rules that traditionally I need to have in place in order to confirm taking a trade. All right, we can't have that. We have to have a very short memory in trading. Not just for winners, not just for losers, all in all. We have to have a very short memory, right? And treat each trade as its very own business transaction. It's a 0-0 game, you against the market makers. All right, because we can certainly get carried away by the emotions of how great we've been the last week or so, the last couple months. Right? Get carried away there. Think all is dandy. Right? Then loosen up and boom, you get crushed. Right? And then that opens the door for a downward spiral, going down the rabbit hole again. All right, so you just need to ask yourself, and you're consistent. All right, you feel like you've reached that level of profitability. You need to ask yourself, do you intend to relive the pain of the past? Would you like to go through that again? Those sleepless nights, right? The punching the computer screen, blowing accounts, the ups and downs emotionally affecting your personal life? I don't think so. Right? So you're consistent. That's great. Congratulations. Appreciate that. But always remember what you went through. I don't think you're going to want to go back. All right? So what does that mean? That means the work does not stop. Never. Never. Right? We are always learning. We should be actively seeking development. Not only technical analysis, right? Psychologically. Really anything you do in life, right? Professional traders really are professionals in all aspects of life. To be honest, right? Whether that's your eating habits, working out, discipline goes all around, right? But we are always learning. We should always be seeking to learn a little bit more tomorrow than we learned today, to be a little bit better today than we were yesterday, right? So the work absolutely doesn't stop. I'm going to bring in LeBron James again, right? And I've somewhat touched upon this analogy in past videos, but do you think that once LeBron James reached the NBA, do you think that he stopped working after getting drafted? Right? He reached the professional, top of the top, cream of the crop, NBA, got drafted out of high school. Do you think he just stopped because he became a professional? Or did he continue to work harder and harder and has now become the best player in history, in my opinion? Right? So the same applies here, guys. This is a professional business. Right? You become a professional. Obviously, people have different standards for what that means, but we should all be seeking to be a professional, right? Within our own context. You become a professional. Are you going to stop working? Or are you going to work harder and harder, just like LeBron did when he became a professional? Right? Doesn't mean we can just sit back on the beach, guys, and not put in any work, not try to become better each and every day. Might mean that we can avoid some unnecessary chart time, right? Might mean we can be a little more flexible. Doesn't mean we have to work less, right? We can just work more efficiently. Always working harder. That's what professionals do, right? Again, adaptability. The markets are ever changing. Right? We have different market cycles, bear cycles, bull cycles, consolidation. Different fundamental news events going on throughout the world affecting the markets in terms of volatility. All right, I promise you haven't seen it all. I haven't seen it all. All right, there's been significant market phases that I have not been a part of. I've been trading for almost 6 years now, but there's still phases that I have not experienced or witnessed. Right, but I've trained myself psychologically to be able to react and adapt very quickly, very efficiently. based upon my experience thus far. Of course, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to learn very quickly, be able to adapt. We have to be very malleable. We have to be flexible. We have to be able to adapt on a regular basis, not just on a macro perspective, on a micro. Right? So that's very, very, very critical to have that capability, to have that skill, to be able to adapt and react. Not everybody has that. So that's a very key component within maintaining that consistency and profitability, is the ability to adapt, right? And again, that ties into, what we talk about on a consistent basis, within our courses and within our, VIP service, right? Is understanding trading from the underlying logic perspective, right? What is happening, not on a physical, what does this pattern look like, but what is the actual underlying logic of the markets, right? Obviously tying in liquidity principles, market structure, et cetera. That's getting into technical analysis. But that's what I'm saying. We have to be willing and able psychologically to not get married to one particular approach, right? We have our obviously generic logic and perspective, right? But we can't get married to that and try to fit the mold every single time. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So we have to be able to step back, right? Take failure, take losses on the chin. Even we're consistent traders, that's going to happen. We have to be able to make adjustments very quickly, right? And that ties into fine tuning, right? Always slight improvements can be made. You can always protect your capital a little bit better. You can always increase that return a little bit better, right? You can always pinpoint that entry, right? A little bit better, right? So there's constantly things to be worked on, improved upon, right? As we're consistent traders and seek to maintain that consistency and turn this into a legitimate stream of income, right? That lasts for the long term, right? That's our whole goal here, right? Everyone wants to get out of the 9-to-5, the rat race, right? Have the time freedom, the flexibility that trading can provide, right? So that just simply takes stepping back, right? And reflecting on a regular basis. What can I fine tune, right? What little improvements can I make that can make my consistency that much stronger, right? Very, very key. And finally, consulting others, right? It's always great to have a support network. I talked about this in the beginning, right? To have people that you can consistently bounce ideas off of and share perspectives and have that, whether it be, obviously our community chat or just a friend who's also at your level, or just Nathan or me bouncing ideas, find that support. You can't just do everything on your own, right? Even when you reach that level, right? At the end of the day, LeBron James still has a team. All right, there's still players around him supporting him. All right, and the same applies here. So don't put yourself on an island unnecessarily. Right? Build your team out. Build that rapport. Find someone that can hold you accountable. Right? And that can critique you. Maybe see something that you don't. Right? Maybe see something psychologically that you don't see that's holding you back from more success. Things of that nature. Right? So it's very, very, very important. The work doesn't stop. We have to be doing these things on a regular basis as professional, consistent traders. All right? Unwavering psychology and discipline. All right? Consistent profits are only the output of consistent thinking. I'll say that again. Consistent profits are only the output of consistent thinking. If you are not thinking consistently, right, from a psychological basis, then the end result, that output, it's not going to be consistent. All right? So you ever heard the term, You are what you eat, right? You eat crap, you eat Little Debbie's and Doritos and soda, you're going to be overweight, right? You're going to be diabetic. And I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to get my point across here. You are what you think, right? So you are, as a trader, what you think, what goes on inside your mind. All right? It's like your favorite meal, right? Let's say, I don't know, spaghetti, right? Your favorite meal is spaghetti, right? And you like to make it, right? You cook it yourself, right? There's a very specific mixture of ingredients that goes into it. And that's probably a poor example because there's really not many ingredients that goes into spaghetti, but you get my point. If you like the way it tastes, you're going to make it the same every single time. You're going to put the same ingredients together, right, to make the spaghetti because you like the way it tastes. You like the end result. This is the same here with trading. Right? You're not going to get that same spaghetti if you leave out the garlic, the oregano. Right? You're not going to get the same consistency in trading if you leave out everything that we're talking about in this course or components that we emphasize within this course. It's a holistic course. Everything goes together. All right, and I love to make these analogies because it really does put things into perspective. All right. Finally, you have developed the habit, right? More than likely, you've developed the habit because you are consistent. You're profitable, right? But you can't let it go, right? You can't let things hinder you, get in the way of that habit, right? It's like going to the gym. I know, some people get on a pretty good routine. They get on a good habit and go to the gym on a regular basis, consistent basis. And then, work I had a long day at work and I'm tired. Then you get off the gym for a couple days and then you've broken that routine, that habit. Right? We can't do that in trading. Right? We can't let things get in the way, whether that be within the realm of trading or outside personal basis. Right? I don't care that you're tired. I don't care that you got 3 hours of sleep last night. Right? In your mind, it's I go to the gym every day regardless because that's what I do. That's my habit. That's my routine. All right, and the same logic applies here to trading. Can't be making excuses for ourselves, especially when you're a professional. There's no room for excuses anymore. You are a professional. You're held to a higher standard. You should hold yourself to a higher standard. Be your own boss. Really. All right? So you can't be weak. You can't be lazy. All right? This is the real deal. And all of that hard work, you're just going to throw it down the drain because something got in the way. Some external factor. I wouldn't let that happen if I were you. All right, and I'm not trying to be melancholy or negative here, guys. This is all, the whole point is for this to be a positive impact, positive experience, but we give you the harsh truth. Right? That's the whole point of this. It's transparency. We're not selling a false dream here. All right, we're giving you the reality as it is and as you're going to experience it. Because we truly do want to see you succeed. Right? So I'm sorry if you take offense to anything that we say. It's all from love. Right? It's because we deeply care, right, about this course, about all of you, right, and achieving your goals, because we've been there. We've done that. It sucked. Right? So kind of the exercise for this episode is read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I've read it myself. Very, very powerful book about building habits, kind of breaking down what habits are, what kind of goes into habits physiologically, right? And, developing and maintaining habits, right? So, I love to give out book examples or book recommendations. Books are very powerful tools. Reinforcement, self-education, right? At the end of the day, we're all prioritizing our education. We're learning something new every day. I felt this was a perfect opportunity to recommend The Power of Habit. So grab you a copy. It's relatively cheap, right? But a lot of valuable information within. And I'll just leave you with this, right? It's a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle, right? The consistent professional trader, right? And everything that goes into it, right? From your habits, psychology, routines, etc. That is a lifestyle, right? And it becomes your nature, right? So don't fight that, right? And don't let external sources get in the way of that, right? You have to continue to work, right? Until it becomes your nature and there's no question about it, right? That you're going to change or that you're going to regress. All right. So really enjoyed this video. Lots of value, I feel like. Relatively brief, but to the point. Very, very critical points. And so, like all the videos, I hope you watch and rewatch as many times as you need to kind of let this information soak in. All right. So we will talk to you in the next video.